Zest is in, where resilience begins, not fixing the cracks.
Hello everyone and welcome to Zest is Zen with me, Shel Marie, the podcast that'll take you on a journey from the hustle to the harmony, fueling your passion whilst finding your peace. I have another incredible guest today, a part of the pregnancy series, which I'm super excited about, and her name is Kinga Gecsey. She is a holistic health and energy practitioner, MBA, and founder of Freedom Bear. Oh, I'd love to know more about where that name came from. Who is helping mothers break free from stress-driven survival patterns and reconnect with themselves from the inside out. Through her deeply compassionate approach to nervous system healing and emotional well-being, Kinga invites us into a powerful conversation about what happens when we stop fighting ourselves and start creating safety within. Could the key to transforming our relationship with food, our children, and ourselves be far deeper than we've ever been taught? Well, we'll find out today. If you feel called, I invite you to share a little love by helping amplify my beautiful guest voice and all my future and past, present, all of them. They're all incredible, making this podcast the way it is today. So yeah, it's just a click of the button to subscribe and share this episode with many more hearts and minds. And if you've done so already, thank you, thank you, thank you. And may this episode bring you self-compassion, hope, and courage to nurture not only yourself, but be able to deeply nurture into others as well. Because when we pour into ourselves, we are so full that we can pour into others. So thank you, thank you, thank you, and welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome. And even though, as we said, it's a pregnancy series, it's kind of ironic because I'm actually still pregnant, which is, beautiful, I think, with what you are, the impact you're putting in the world. And I just think it's going to add another layer to sorry, I just got now, this is interesting because maybe this you could share a little light on this, but I've got really strong heartburn right now, so it feels like there's literally a dragon inside me, breathing fire. So this beautiful, anyone listening, this is not what you are going to experience in pregnancy, but I just happen to have, and I just have this image of my beautiful baby coming out with all this mane of hair. Whether that's an old wives' tale or not, I'm not sure. So if you see me kind of pulling faces or something, I really apologize, but it's just something that's happening with my body right now. So yeah, thinking about that, I always love to go a little bit backward and find out why, what inspired you to get onto the path that you're on today before we dive into all the greatness that you're creating.
Well, what inspired me to get on the path was when I became a mom, and I had a newborn and a toddler, and I was searching for a cure for a health condition I had. And so I got the book, The Body Ecology Diet from Donna Gates. And I thought, oh, okay, just a book that will help me with this condition. And it not just helped the condition, but it opened my eyes on holistic health on a different level. I thought I was healthy and I wasn't.
Wow.
So that was my inspiration on starting creating food, learning about gut health, learning about what really holistic truly means, probiotics and so on. So that's how it started, and then later on I dove deeper.
Wow, that's so interesting because so obviously wow, a heart condition, I can't even comprehend that. I remember just at the start of my pregnancy being told that I had thick blood, so I would need to take aspirin the whole pregnancy. And so instead of just being oh well, that's what I need to take, I got very serious about nutrition. So it's so interesting you're saying this because even before the beautiful gift arrives, we are mothers, we are nurturing, and what we are putting in, pouring into our body, words, food, whatever, is essentially affecting our you know, she's a part of our, he, whatever we're having is a part of our womb. And so I took that so seriously, and I actually feel like my beautiful baby has healed me, because I'm not supposed to have dairy, and I got really serious about that and haven't had it for years. But I also wasn't supposed to have gluten. But there was a part of me that would always be like, oh, but everything kind of has gluten, always making excuses. But the moment I knew that there was a little life that I was building in my womb, and then with the thick blood and the potential of her not receiving nutrients if I'm not serious and good about what I'm doing, it was a no. Like it. And so, you know, as we know, babies, it's 9 months. She's basically healed me for 9 months, whereas, you know, I was still on that, oh, I'll just have one little biscuit, it's only a little bit of gluten, or it's only a little bit of wheat or whatever. But it's so interesting. I thought I poured love into myself, but until literally you are responsible and caring for another life, I realized, no, I wasn't. I was still kind of sabotaging myself a little bit each time, knowing I'd have a bad tummy. But the moment it was like, it's going to affect another life, absolutely not. You know, it was all like, it wasn't even a compromise. So, yeah, I would love to know your own journey.
Yes, so my pregnancies were challenging. And so after my pregnancies, when I really, like, that's when I got the book. And that's when I realized how much I had the awareness that everything I do, it affects the baby as far as what I eat, but I didn't know what healthy food meant because I was following mainstream. I didn't learn about deep nutrition, how you use probiotics, you use like even the meat or the greens you eat. And so after that, when I started to teaching my kids, we had our rocky roads because they were visiting different households where I had no say, and that was really hard on me. So
yeah,
because I'm a single mom, and I basically from day one I've been a single mom. So it was definitely a different journey, but nothing that I would not regret. This is why I have a heart for so many pregnant women, because if I can just share a little bit of the information of what I had gone through and just prevent. Yes,
absolutely. And before you share that, I would love to know, because I didn't realize, and it's so interesting, like, and I went to good old ChatGPT and asked, like, put in everything that they said, and like, what's the best way, what should I be eating, you know, and I never realized, so for instance, like, I should be like Popeye, because I've been having spinach probably every day, twice a day, and, you know, I took that really seriously, like greens every day, and I didn't realize that then to really get the goodness and the nutrition and activate it, you need to have citrus. So even that, like, it was like, so I would have my meal and then I would have an orange. And so, there was things that I just learned that I just was like, why don't we know this, you know? Like, yeah,
it's all hidden. It's hidden from us. It's not. I always say this is the relationships. Food should be taught in schools, because that affects us and our children more than anything else. Because we are parents, but for how long before they go to the world and they on their own and they get influenced by other adults or their peers?
Yeah, and I think you touched on a really important point there, because I don't always think people necessarily are meaning it in a harmful way. But for example, there's a love language of food. And so it's like, because obviously, or the advertising, it's not demonizing McDonald's or anything, but it's like, oh, it's a whole experience, and I can see your face, but it's like, it's like that's the thing. You have your standards, you have your way, you have your knowledge and your knowing, and you can be as conscious as you want and pour into your kids. And then it's not saying it'll be grandma or whatever, but they'll go and they just only know that way of, oh well, this is what happy meal, or whatever it is. And I hope my little one doesn't have the dairy and the gluten, and that she can eat whatever she wants, but equally I will still not just give her anything. Like, I'll be very conscious about the hidden ingredients and things like that. And I think a lot of people don't know this. Like, it really does affect mindset. It affects, like, if they've got inflammation in the body, things like that. There's so many things, and kids are going in, and I think what people are not realizing is, even in a school day, when you pack that beautiful little packed lunch and the kids like, yummy, but all that hidden stuff is affecting them and their performance and their brain, and how they get stressed and agitated and upset. Yeah, so I think it's amazing what you're doing and creating.
Oh yes, I can talk a long time on the school food, because I was working with little ones, and
Same.
the food I saw was wow. And they were wondering why the kids don't sit still, and then they're forcing the kids to sit still. Well, I'm like, how can you force a child to sit still when the food is packed with sugar and carbs?
Yeah, and you see that you can see their eyes are like bing, and
Yes.
Even though they're trying, they're like, yeah, I am, but it's like they're having a rave in their body that they can't control,
Exactly. Exactly.
So yeah, it's almost like they're set up sometimes to fail, Poor things. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. When my son was in daycare, so he was at 3, 4, 5. The kindergarten teacher called me, and she was like, your son is not eating the food. So I gave her the school lunch, and I would wake up every morning, pack his lunch, and she would argue with me, and I'm like, no, he's not. I don't do bad. Like, I'm not gonna give him that food. And she was really upset with me. But I'm like, how do you argue a parent? Like, I know what's best for my child.
Yeah. And I guess there's the opposite as well. So there's that side of it, which is crazy. Like, because it sounds like you were given your child, really, really nutritious food. And then you have the opposite where, the child literally comes in with a whole lunchbox of biscuits. And you're like, and so, how do you equally have the opposite conversation? Because essentially they are the parent. But, I think if you really think about that as an adult, are you going to be at your highest performance taking in a packet of biscuits and then, carrying out all your meetings and everything? Like, I think sometimes there's love, but actually the love is no as well. And, making sure your child needs to be nourished with what they actually need. And I guess everything is balance, there is balance. But yeah, I just think sometimes when the child physically looks like they're overweight, then it's a serious problem, or underweight. But when the child is just looking normal, but they're actually not being fueled with the right nutrition, it's kind of like, oh, it's fine because they look fine. And it's like, I don't know, I just think we need to take it a little bit more seriously, that's all.
I agree. Yeah, that was my rule with my kids what we have at home, what we have at home, and then when you go out, I won't argue because I have no control. So, and it was interesting because I do believe, and this is for all young mothers, is I do believe when you give them the foundation and they know how you fed them, at the teenage years, they may start to
Yeah,
rebel,
yeah.
but what I notice is they come back to it. They won't
Yes,
crave the bad
yes.
stuff. As long as you give them the foundation, I think that will carry them for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. And I think equally that age is an age of rebellion, most of them, you know. It's like the more you say don't or no, or, you know, you challenge, the more they're going to probably do the opposite. It's just that kind of age, you know.
Yes,
But equally, yeah, it's like you can do the best that you can do. And in our household, this is how we eat. But equally, they are their own individual person. And I'm sure, like, before even I got to the point that I'm at now with being conscious of things, did I used to be like that? Yes. Like, can you try your best? Because you always want your children to be better, do better, of course. But equally, they are still on their own little path, and they're still going to do what they're going to do. So, um,
yes.
yeah. So thank you for sharing that with me. So with that in mind, yeah, so can you like provide an example or something of how you support kind of parents and children that come to you and, you know, want that valuable information? And because essentially again, like I think also there's from the get-go, like I you know, at the moment she's in my womb, so it's like she'll be from the start. But I can
Yes.
imagine parents coming to you and their child has already got these habits. They already are, you know, consuming whatever it is, and they're kind of getting not addictions, but they know the difference between things now. I guess that can be quite tricky as well because all their friends are eating the same thing, and then
Yeah, it's very tricky once they get used to, and if the parents are not on the holistic side. Um, the first thing I always say is to start with fermented vegetable juice, just to start curbing the cravings. And usually children don't have problem with that, and it helps their microbiome. It's at least this is something that they can add. I notice that many of the children, especially here in the US, love pasta, milk, and well, the sweets and chicken nuggets, which I don't understand the chicken nuggets. I'll be honest. That's something that I see the battle for many parents. And honestly, because I went through myself, and when my son asked me about chicken nuggets, I said, where did you get that? I don't even feed you." And so things I suggest is, but from my own experiences, you know, choose your battles. So if it was chicken nuggets, at the time I was vegan, so I thought maybe the vegan option is better. So I was buying fake nuggets, but now they have cauliflower breaded. I'm not a fan of processed food, but this is small transitions you
yeah,
can start doing, because you can take away something that's already in the behavior,
of
especially if the
course.
children have challenges emotionally. It's really hard to break the habit. So I always say, just what is the next best option, and
Right.
don't try to go holistic and give them carrots if they never had carrots before. So
Absolutely. Like, but if you think, even if you think about that as an adult, that would be very tricky. Like what I said, I wasn't always aware. I knew that my body never felt good with dairy, and then I cut that out and realized, oh, process of elimination, and then I kind of experienced symptoms again. gluten now as well. Like, really? Can I eat anything? So can you imagine, like, it's not just always, even from a parent, an adult perspective, it's not even like your kind of mind also straight away is like, well, how am I going to continue? Because you only know a certain way of eating and a certain way of socializing or whatever. But it's interesting because it wasn't only then changing my perception and what I was eating, but equally I had to change my mindset that no, I've created that it's going to be harder to get what I need. And it's really not. And actually, some of the meals I eat now, like from scratch, going right back to the basics of how, many of our grandparents used to cook. It's actually more delicious and it does not take more time. But again, we have this like notion that it's quicker to put it in, leave it for 20 minutes. But I think again, it's like the put it in and leave it, thinking it's quicker. But even if you're just doing it on the spot, it's actually the same most of the time. I just think people don't, again, maybe always want to have that time and put that effort into, which again is pouring your love into what you're about to eat as well. It's very but yeah, no, I like the food I get to eat now, and I had this whole everything's going to be bland, I'm not going to be able to eat anything. It's rubbish. It's all lies. Like I eat such delicious food all the time.
Yes, I can relate. Yeah, because you are in control of what you make, what you put in your food. You know what you like, and you can make it more delicious than if you go to a restaurant. I
Yeah,
even find myself, I rather cook for myself because, especially when I started to use the herbs and the spices,
yeah.
and I went on an adventure, invented things that I never seen on a menu, and I said, why does this taste better than even if I get eggs or meat well, I don't like to eat meat outside, but if I ever did any or salads, it doesn't taste as good.
Yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it? And like now, if I do eat out, I can tell when it's like frozen, or I can tell the difference. It's like anyway, that's another conversation. Um,
Yes.
I know also that in the intro we spoke about, well, I shared about, it's not just the eating. You add another layer to what you offer and you support with, and actually the difference between emotional and eating patterns and survival and things like that. So feel free to like, I think it was stress eating or something. Like, feel free to share anything about not only what we're eating, but like other areas to it. So
It's how you eat also matters. So I have a rule is when I'm stressing or then I don't cook. Might as well. Then I go get a healthier food options from outside. Or when I feel sad, I sit with my emotions rather than start eating. And I notice many women and men too, but I don't have much experience. They love to eat ice cream or something sweet at night, especially after a heartbreak, or it's 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 that natural quote unquote medicine. And I see that and I'm like, even if you eat the healthiest ice cream when you feel sad, it's gonna do more harm for you than any good. And I feel like this is a big one for I see that with men too, so I don't want to exclude them, but with women is that stress eating, or just they wanna, it's a regulation to regulate through food. It's a big deal. Or even when they say after a stressful day or with the kid, I'm gonna wind down with the wine, and I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that. It affects the kids because the kids see it, and then they start to take that behavior on as well.
yeah, that's an important point when you mentioned, like, even if we say don't, it's like kids learn through their eyes. And I just love your take on this, but it's really interesting because, you know, when you see these movies and the heartbreak, what are they always eating? Ice cream.
Yeah.
Stressed, or what are they drinking? Alcohol. So I do think, you know, there is a little bit of like, you know, people could say no, that's ridiculous, but it is. I do feel like things do feed the mind, and again, like repetition and seeing, like, do you actually really want that, or is it something that you've just unconsciously been exposed to that makes you think that you want it? You know, I just think like it's just interesting because, yeah, like why, like I would say, you know, if we go and watch some go and check out some heartbreaking movies, they will probably have the ice cream, or, you know, they've just had a divorce or something, like, so girl trip, like let's go get, you know. There's all these, and like, that's the thing, but this is the thing, like, you see, we're laughing about it because it's good entertainment, but it's planting seeds all the time in minds, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think there's a reason for it. It's marketing for the movies.
Of course, it's consumerism.
Yes,
Yeah.
because you will get up, and if you don't have ice cream in the freezer, you will get up and go get ice cream or whatever your choice is from the grocery store, because you're like, oh my gosh, I have to eat ice cream for this movie.
Popcorn, you know, and now even that now at the cinema, it's not even popcorn anymore. Like, you know, before you'd be like happy with a, you know, popcorn, whereas now it's like it's just another level. Everything is like so like expansive and like like, how are we even concentrating on the movie? We've got so much going in, and now everyone's making noises.
Yes, exactly. Yes, yes. I had speaking of the movies, yeah, when my kids were young, they wanted to go to the movies, and it was like it was a treat. And I would take it's not allowed to, but I said I'm not gonna buy popcorn from the movie theater because they have all that greasy butter. I don't think that's real butter anyway. And I would sneak in organic popcorn and their drink from the healthy grocery store, and I would give that to them. And then later on, they got mad. They're like, "Why can't we ever have a popcorn from the movies?"
Yeah, but you see, even for children, that's what they're learning through their eyes, seeing. Well, everyone else does. Why, you know? Because I remember in the other sense of like, I think it was potentially because maybe there was so many of us, like there was, you know, the four of us. We used to go to the shop as well because, again, like, I'm not saying that was the reason, but, you know, my mum very much was pretty much bringing us up on her own quite a lot as well. And so for her to take 4 children to the cinema, it was a lot. Like, not only the ticket then, or the popcorn, you know, and we all want our own, and then we want a drink, and yeah, like, so yeah, I can see like the two sides of it, and, you know, we don't want to share, we want our own. So you don't think about that, do you? So
yeah, that's true.
Well, of course, like, there's so much I still could really ask you about all that you're creating and doing, and if there's anything you feel like anyone listening right now would really benefit from hearing, like, feel free to share. But obviously I want to equally be conscious of the time and don't want to use up too much more of your time.
Oh, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for having me. It was such a pleasure being here. And I love this conversation, so thank you.
Yes.
And for anyone who listens to this, your young mom, like, one of the first things is don't stress. Educate yourself, learn, and just take the basics. Really, what my philosophy became around food is, if it didn't exist 100 years ago, don't eat it. So that's something in mind, and
yeah,
I think that's one of the most important foundation that you can give to your children, especially in the early stages.
Absolutely. Because I just, one little thing before you go, I was even thinking about this of, you know, like the little baby food. And I was thinking, yeah. And I was just thinking, but actually, when you really think about it, and it's not even anything to do with the price, but like, there's no way that food is sitting on that counter and it's organic and it's got no preservatives. Like, let's just think a little bit wider than this. If you made a batch of something and you left it out on your counter in a little jar for a week or more, because you know the expiry, I don't think it's going to still look like that. So I just think, again, it's not saying that they're not sharing all the information, but we're a bit more intelligent to know that there's no way that little bit of food that says 100% organic or whatever, it's not even in a fridge or anything, is like, hasn't got anything at all in it that is preserving it. And equally, like, imagine just getting those, whatever it is, the carrots, whatever it is, the ingredients, imagine how much more you can make. And you know, how many times do you see babies having that and they're still hungry or something? Like, you have the power to create, knowing that everything you have put in there is going straight in, you know, from the source. And I don't know, I just think like sometimes easier, is it better long term?
I need my own baby food.
Yeah, I know.
That's
I will.
Yes, do that. Yes,
and you know, you can put that love into it. Like, you know, I feel like as a mother, like, it's like, I don't know, and I see this so many times. Like, it just, imagine your baby's eating your food and they're loving your cooking. Like, what a reward that is. And like, to kind of just give them something, and even if they're yum yum, it's not quite the same as like, I made that for them. I think that's really beautiful.
Exactly. Yeah, your heart, your love that goes into the food is so important.
And then they see the process as well, because they're learning. You know, the world is so new to them, and you make it into a beautiful experience together. And again, like, if you create a big batch, that's done. Like, you don't need to go back to it and go down to the shop, buy more. Like, you can freeze it, whatever, put it in your fridge, and it's just on endless supply. Like, get the little jars, easy.
Exactly. It's so much better to make it, so much better.
Absolutely. Well, really, thank you so much. And it's been a pleasure having you. And if there was just something someone listening right now in this very moment would really benefit from hearing, sorry, it's coming up again. What would you tell them?
What I would tell them?
Yeah. Any message that comes to your mind.
Love your body, love what you do, and don't judge yourself, even if there are new informations. And just focus when you cook, like we talked about, is focus on the love that you give, and have that in mind when you're cooking for your children. I think that, like you said, that's so beautiful, and that's the most important thing. Is do everything with love. I think that's the key.
That's beautiful. Really, thank you so much. And I just continue to wish you just an abundance of success in all that you're doing. And you really got this lovely nature about you. So thank you so much for being a guest today.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
I wish I have a wonderful day.
That's the magic that Zest is in.